I lived in my condo for 6 years, and parking space 137 was clearly assigned to Unit 304 in both my deed and the HOA's original parking schedule. So, when I came home one Monday to find a silver Mercedes parked there, I assumed it was a mistake. It wasn't. The car belonged to Trevor Kane, the penthouse owner and newly elected HOA board member. And within days, the board informed me that space 137 had been reallocated due to a clerical correction favoring the penthouse. They claimed higher dues meant higher priority. When I showed them my recorded documents, they brushed it off as outdated paperwork. Trevor stood at the next HOA meeting talking about streamlining asset usage, while I stood there holding proof that the asset was mine. Instead of escalating emotionally, I started researching. Our building had been converted from apartments in the late 80s. And the underground garage was added after the original declaration. Digging through county property records, I discovered something the board either overlooked or hoped no one would notice. Several parking spaces, including 137, had been carved out as separately deeded units and sold to a holding LLC during the conversion. They were never legally transferred to the HOA. That meant the board had no authority to reassign anything. They were leasing the space from someone else. The LLC traced back to a retired developer named Harold Benson, living in Arizona. When I called him, he was surprised the spaces still existed under his company's name. I asked if he'd sell space 137. After a short negotiation, we agreed on $18,000. I took out a small loan, signed the paperwork, and recorded the deed. 2 weeks later, I owned parking unit 137 outright. I knocked on Trevor's penthouse door and calmly told him he was trespassing. He laughed until I emailed him the recorded deed. His tone changed instantly. First came disbelief, then offers $20,000, $35,000, $50,000. I declined each one. Instead, I contacted Marcus Ruiz, owner of Trevor's largest competing dealership across town. Marcus drove a bright red Porsche wrapped in his company's logo. Bold, impossible to miss. I leased him the space for $900 a month on a 3-year contract. The first morning he parked under the elevator, residents slowed to stare. Trevor tried to have the car towed twice. Both times the tow company called me as the deeded owner, and both times I authorized the vehicle. The HOA attorney sent a warning letter about community standards, but my attorney replied with the recorded deed and lease agreement. They backed off. Within 3 months, Trevor resigned from the board. 6 months later, his penthouse quietly went on the market. I eventually sold my condo, but I kept space 137. Marcus renewed his lease, and the monthly payments more than covered my loan. In the end, I didn't just reclaim my parking spot. I turned it into an investment and a daily reminder that knowing the rules is far more powerful than trying to bend them.